From Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader, this is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
Banning all travel to Ebola-infected countries. One congressman issues a call for new restrictions.
But the CDC director says a travel ban would not make a difference, even as one patient's travel history suddenly lands a plane in Colorado.
Plus, keeping their emotions in check. The judge in the James Holmes trial makes a difficult, if not impossible, request. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Heather Skoll.
And I'm Greg Miller in for James tonight. We start our top story tonight. One Colorado lawmaker is calling for aggressive measures to fight the spread of Ebola.
Congressman Doug Lamborn says there should be a travel ban from the 3 West African countries struggling with that disease. These countries are Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone.
KRDO News Channel 13's Dana Molina is live in the Newsplex tonight with more on what the congressman is asking for.
Greg, Heather, Lamborn says the U.S. should not take any chances and that the president should implement this temporary civilian travel ban by revoking all visas to those 3 countries. The exceptions would be for healthcare workers, troops, and others going to help contain Ebola. The congressman says he's concerned with how the Centers for Disease Control has handled this situation. He says it seems like all the predictions have been wrong.
They said, well, we have Dallas contained, and that was not the case. They say that the nurses followed the proper protocols, and they still got infected. I don't think they really have a true handle on how deadly the disease is and how easily transmitted it is.
Lamborn says he does support the president's initiative in sending troops overseas to help stop the spread of the disease, but that he wants to make sure the proper precautions and measures are in place to make sure they're protected. Live in the Newsplex, Dana Molina, KRDO News Channel 13.
All right, Dana, thank you. And today, President Obama authorized the Pentagon to call up Reserve and National Guard troops to help in the response to Ebola.
The U.S. is already committed to sending up to 4,000 military personnel to West Africa. They will provide logistics and help build treatment units there.
And others are calling on travel bans to West Africa and Washington today.
The director of the CDC was on the hot seat today on Capitol Hill. Several lawmakers want to suspend travel or start suspending travel visas of individuals from West Africa until the virus is under control.
But the CDC says the U.S. can now track those coming from the region. However, if travel is banned, people will find other ways to get here, and the system will fail.
Borders can be porous. We won't be able to check them for fever when they leave. We won't be able to check them for fever when they arrive. When they arrive, we wouldn't be able to impose quarantine.
Now, this comes as the plane Ebola victim Amber Vinson took from Cleveland to Dallas pulled into DIA last night.
Frontier says the plane has been cleaned 4 times. 6 crew members are on leave for the next 21 days as a result.
And we want to show you a live look as one of the nurses with Ebola left a Dallas hospital tonight with her co-workers lining the street to send her off. Nina Pham is being transferred to the National Institute of Health Clinical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. An ambulance took her to Dallas Love Field, where an air ambulance will fly her to Maryland. Pham contracted Ebola after treating a Liberian man who was diagnosed with the disease.
And you can find the very latest on the fight against Ebola on our website, krdo.com. Just click on our Ebola continuing coverage banner. On a much lighter note, it's a sunny day across southern Colorado. Perfect day, really.
Picture perfect. Yeah, hopefully you were out enjoying the nice weather because the animals were. Henry Smith took this picture of a deer near the Penrose house. And that deer is awfully cute, Rachel. Big ears there as well.
So cute. I don't know about you guys, but when I saw that picture, it looked like something that we would see in May, maybe early June. It did not look like an October picture at all. It looked more like spring.
I looked and thought, oh dear.
Oh man, I'm sure you did. Take a look at the temperatures outside right now. We are sitting in the 60s and 70s. It was a mild day today, cooler than yesterday, but still very comfortable to spend some time outside. Take a look at this beautiful shot from the summit of Pikes Peak. 31 degrees up there, though, and check out that wind blowing at 27 miles per hour up on Pikes Peak. The wind is something that we have had to deal with through the afternoon, starting to die down, though, as that sun is setting. So wind speeds right now along the Front Range in the teens. We will calm down as we head into the night tonight. So here's a look at your evening planner. 60s and 70s right now. 50s by 9 o'clock. By midnight, we're tracking temperatures in the 40s. We are going to cool even further tomorrow. Tomorrow a little bit chillier than it was out there today, but really should just feel even more like fall. I'll let you know what that means for you and what that means for your weekend. Coming up with your 7-day forecast, that's in just a little bit. Guys, back to you.
All right, looking forward to that. Thanks, Rachel. If you're a voter in Pueblo County and you can't drop off your mail or your ballot in time, there's another option. You can have a friend or family member do it for you.
The Pueblo County Clerk's and Recorder's Office is reminding people today that a person is allowed to drop off up to 10 ballots. But KRDO News Channel 13's Carl Winder spoke with a voter who says this will lead to more problems.
The ballot boxes are out, and people are sending in their votes showing who they want to represent them. But not everyone who votes can make it to the ballot drop-off locations.
It is perfectly fine for me to bring in my great aunt's ballot if I wanted to, or my grandparents or somebody in my family. It's perfectly legal to bring ballots in for people that need your help to bring them in.
The Pueblo County Clerk and Recorder's Office is reminding people they can drop off up to 10 ballots. But not everyone thinks that's a good idea. Russell Griffith says one person who has one vote should send in their own ballots.
It'll cut out the middleman, and it will assure that their one vote gets there. It's from that person to the person taking in the vote, and there's no problems.
County Clerk Gilbert Ortiz says there are ways to make sure your ballot makes it safe to the box.
We also have a new ballot tracer system. So if you wanted to sign up to trace your ballot and watch your ballot throughout the process, you have that ability. That makes the voting more transparent.
Even though Ortiz and Griffith don't agree on how a ballot should be dropped off, both admit every ballot will matter on Election Day. In Pueblo County, Carl Winder, KRDO News Channel 13.
And just a reminder, Election Day is on November 4th.
Well, asking the tough questions and getting to know the candidates in Pueblo West, a history class at Pueblo West High School organized a forum this afternoon. Students had the chance to quiz people who are running for office about education, jobs, and gun control. Students say this forum helped them understand the issues affecting Pueblo.
It's great to get to learn some things about them. It's great to get to know them, get to know what we're voting for the ones of us that are 18 and can vote. It's just something new that we don't get to do every day.
Candidates for County Commissioner, U.S. Congress, a House District, and the State Board of Education were all at that event. And of course, we are covering all sides of Decision 2014 for you on the networks of KRDO. We'll have live coverage all night on Election Day. For now, stay up to date with the very latest on our website, krdo.com.
There's another ruling by the judge in the Aurora Theater shooting trial. The judge says he will not tell shooting victims not to show emotion while they are testifying during the trial's penalty phase. Attorneys for James Holmes asked the judge to require victims not to show emotion on the stand. The judge also denied a request to tell jurors that then they can only consider rational arguments when deciding a sentence. Holmes is accused of killing 12 people back in July of 2012. His trial is set to begin in December.
A man who escaped from the Jefferson County Jail is in custody tonight. A Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says Travis Sandlin was arrested this morning in Boulder. Sandlin was injured in a rollover crash and was taken to the hospital instead of jail. Sandlin escaped the jail 10 days ago by cutting through a wire fence. He has a long arrest history in Colorado, including burglary, sexual crimes, and theft. Well, he stepped in to save a man's life, and tonight, first responders in Pueblo are being honored as heroes.
Plus, skiers, myself included, are itching and counting down the hours. The first run opens tomorrow. So how will the weather this season be for the slopes? A lesson in seasonal science. Straight ahead.
I mean, she basically lives in a bubble now.
Five people are honored as heroes after saving a coworker's life.
The American Red Cross gave the Lifesaver Award to the group of first responders at Train, a heating and air conditioning company. They saved a man who was having a heart attack near one of the offices. One of the award winners says he will never forget that day.
It's the first time on an actual person saving somebody's life, so yeah, it's definitely one I'll remember.
The five people who received the award are trained to handle medical emergencies. With the first sighting of snow on Pikes Peak and the Arapahoe Basin Ski Resort opening tomorrow, skiers are itching to get out and hit the slopes.
But the question remains, will we see a repeat of the winter weather we had last year? KRDO News Channel 13's Jason Laird tells us what skiers and snowboarders want to hear.
Last year's winter exceptionally cold, with heavy snow across much of the region.
Last year started off wet and snowy, and it ended wet and snowy. I mean, it seemed like winter was not going to end last year.
Skiers and boarders already out shopping are keeping their fingers crossed in hopes of a repeat.
It was so good last year, I hope it can at least get to that level.
The National Weather Service today released the 2014-2015 winter outlook. The long-term forecast anticipates warmer than average conditions across Colorado with what they call an average amount of snowfall.
I love a little bit warmer year. I don't mind skiing if the temperature's a little bit warmer, as long as we keep getting the snow.
All good news to local skiers who have been dreaming of snow for months.
Ideal ski year would be starting in October with some cold snow just to get us a nice good base established. Blowing snow for the rest of October into November, probably till Thanksgiving. And then we start relying on Mother Nature to keep giving us a little bit of snow here and there.
Every day would be 25 degrees, 10 inches of powder, and the sun shining.
In Colorado Springs, Jason Laird, KRDO News Channel 13.
And keep in mind, snow forecasts are dependent on the strength of winter storms.
Those are generally not predictable more than a week in advance, so that's more reason to tune into Rachel's forecast. Rachel, what do you think? How's the season looking, though?
Well, you know what? In my opinion, the season looks great because I don't care if there's 1 inch or 100 inches. You're still going to find me on the slopes, whether I'm on snow or mud. I love this time of year. Take a look right now at the temperatures that we have outside right now. Not conducive for any snow out there tonight. 60s and 70s around the Pikes Peak region and Pueblo. Tomorrow we're cooler. I'll let you know how chilly it's going to feel after the break. cooler today than it was yesterday, and we're going to keep that trend going as we head into tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to drop the temperature by about 5 to 10 degrees, bring us back down to where we should be this time of year. Heading into the weekend, we're going to kick up the wind. Our next chance for rain doesn't arrive until next week. We'll talk about all of that with your 7-day forecast. Let's get you through your Friday first, the best day of the week as far as your work week is concerned, I suppose. 42 degrees in Colorado Springs to start you off tomorrow morning, 37 in Pueblo. It's going to be cooler as you're heading out the door tomorrow morning than it was this morning, so you may need to turn the heater on in the car. Tomorrow afternoon, though, click it off. Even though it's going to be cooler than it was out there today, we are not going to see cold temperatures by any means. We'll hit 63 degrees in Colorado Springs, 67 in Pueblo. You'll feel a bit of that fall chill in the air, but I don't even think you'll need a jacket with temperatures like these. And check this out. We're expecting plenty of sunshine again tomorrow. Starting at 6 o'clock in the morning all the way through lunchtime, we're keeping those skies clear. It won't be until the afternoon when we'll start to see a few high clouds beginning to stream across the state. But all that's going to do is make for a spectacular sunset for your Friday night. Check it out, your 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, 63 degrees. We'll warm the temperature up just by a handful of degrees come Saturday. Saturday, though, is going to be a windy one. So as you're planning your weekend, and I know that's something that I've been doing since, Monday? Tomorrow, or a Saturday rather, is going to be one of those days where you're going to want to keep something hot with you. I like to refer to it as pumpkin spice latte weather because that's what I'll have in my hand come Saturday. The wind is going to make it feel a lot colder on Saturday than it actually is. Come Sunday, though, we're going to calm the winds down. We're going to bump the temperature up. More sunshine expected on Sunday, so if you're trying to decide which of the 2 days to maybe head outside, put up some Halloween decorations, take the dog for a walk, Sunday's looking to be the better of the 2 weekend days, in my opinion. 67 degrees on Monday, upper 60s Tuesday. We'll drop the temperature into the low 60s come Wednesday, Thursday, bringing back that chance for rain by the middle of the work week. Pueblo, 67 degrees tomorrow. We'll hit 69 on Saturday. 74 on Sunday. We'll keep the 70s in place through Tuesday. And then we'll drop into the 60s as that storm system travels through next week. Canyon City, 60s take us through Saturday. Saturday, again, with that wind in place, it's going to feel a bit cooler. 73 on Sunday. Will 70s stick around through Tuesday? Next chance for rain arrives Wednesday in Canyon City. Teller County, 59 tomorrow. 60 on Saturday, 61 Sunday, with temperatures falling into the 50s as that storm system moves through next week. Right now, not looking like an overly potent system by any means, but we'll have to keep an eye on it because it will be bringing some water with it, which means rain for the lower elevations. Could see a few snowflakes on those ski mountains.
Ooh.
All right.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
Okay, so the comparisons are being drawn. Manning, Kaepernick. Jury's still out. I know who I'm
I don't
voting
think the
for.
jury is still out. I think Peyton Manning's going to the Hall of Fame. Colin Kaepernick still has to prove himself, but some NFL coaches think otherwise. We'll tell you a little bit about that coming up in sports. Pacheco. Okay, so I had to add. I added, it's not updating on this. Okay, so after the CSU Pueblo, I've got basically an Av story. I called it Slugged It Varlamov, and then wiped to the switchbacks after that. Yeah, Varlamov hurt, and then wiped to the switchbacks out of that. Okay.
Yeah, do they have a mascot yet?
Who?
The Switchbacks?
That's their mascot.
What is it?
What's it look like?
I don't know.
What's it going to look like?
Now, Rob Namnoon with Southern Colorado's award-winning sports.
Good evening, everybody. Now, not much surprises me, but this did surprise me. Monday morning quarterback asked a dozen NFL coaches back in February if they would rather face Peyton Manning or Colin Kaepernick. Now, according to the MMQB, the report said a solid majority said they would rather face Peyton Manning than Kaepernick. The coaches said that Kaepernick is more stressful to play against because of his unpredictability. And with Manning, you know what you're going to get. The reigning MVP says he's still working on his craft.
You know, I think you do work on things as a quarterback, you know, moving in the pocket, sliding here or there to make a throw. You know, I think if you can't move at all and you get where you can't bend or you get stiff, that's when I'm not sure you need to still be playing anymore, because there's different types of throws. I think for a guy that doesn't run very well, you know, being able just to move and slide in the pocket and make certain throws, I think I can still do that.
Yeah, sure looks like it. Broncos rookie linebacker Layman Barrow is going to be a little lame in the wallet. Barrow, number 57 on your screen, was fined $8,268 today by the NFL for throwing a punch after a kickoff during the Jets game on Sunday. The punch was not caught on camera. Barrow was ejected from the game after he threw the punch. Well, as rare as Heather Skoll reaching for a check at dinner, the CSU Pueblo football team will try and bounce back after a loss this coming Saturday. The Wolfpack, they lost their first conference game last week since 2010. This week, the Pack will host Chadron State for homecoming.
Doing homecoming king and queens, people have been having that all week, voting and all that on campus, so more people are aware of this big game on campus. So you're going to have a bigger crowd, which is always fun to have, always fun to play behind a loud crowd, and our student section is great with that.
On to hockey. The Avs put their top goalie Semyon Varlamov on injured reserve with a mild groin injury today. It is being reported that Varley will be ready to return to the Avs late next week. Now, you're not going to believe what happened in Ottawa tonight. Varley's backup, Reto Berra, was injured in the first period of tonight's game when he was steamrolled into the cage. Berra had to leave the game with an unspecified injury. He was replaced by Calvin Pickard, who spent the day traveling from Lake Erie, Pennsylvania. The Avs lead 2-1 in the first period. The Colorado Springs Pro Soccer team, the Switchbacks, they won't begin their season until late March. They're still in the process of putting a team together. They will have open tryouts on November 22nd and 23rd.
There are a lot of good players that have come out of this area that have contacted me that want to come back. And so it'll be good to get some local players here that people know that have grew up here. And about half of the players that have registered are from around here, but then I've got players from all around the state.
And there will be an exhibition game, the Arizona United versus the LA Galaxy 2, this Saturday at Sand Creek Stadium in Colorado Springs beginning at 6 o'clock. So if you want to check out how they've updated the stadium there and watch a little pro soccer, go to Sand Creek Stadium. Yeah, football.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Some good stuff going on there, too.
No doubt.
All right. Thanks, Rob.
After a steep morning decline, stocks mostly recovered this afternoon. Still, the Dow just holding above the 16,000 mark.
The Dow closed down 24 points, the S&P up less than 1 point, and the NASDAQ ended up 2 points. We'll be right back.
think he said.
And thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here at 10.
Good night.